What's up, guys? So the other day was my son's birthday, turned 15, and I wanted to get him something cool for his birthday, so we found an e-bike. And I don't know if you've tried to look for e-bikes lately or not, but they're super hard to come by. They're on back order, all that stuff. But I did find the FLX Bandit, or FLX Bandit. There was a couple of them available, so I bought both of them. The first one got shipped yesterday, put it together. Had some weird issues putting it together. There was no manual. They said go online to their website and they had a manual there, and that didn't really work. Their videos didn't go through everything. They didn't discuss how to charge the battery. There's a couple of cables that were disconnected that made it so the bike didn't work, and I had to kind of, sift through everything and figure that out. So I figured I'd make this video to help anybody that's looking at getting an FLX Bandit, because it's actually a super cool bike. We really enjoyed it. We really enjoyed it after we got it working, but it was kind of a struggle figuring out, why it wouldn't work. All right, so first things first, we've got to tear this box open, and a box cutter was by far the easiest way to get into it. It was pretty sealed up well, and UPS brought the box in good shape. It's not all beat up. And the one that we got yesterday was pretty much the same thing, so we got lucky. There's no damage to it. Hopefully there's no damage to this one. We'll just use the box cutter and get her open. So the bike comes in there pretty solid. You can see there's a lot of packing materials. There are a ton of zip ties, so you're going to want some little dikes to be able to just snip through all those. All right, so I've cut both of the packages open, and you can see that the bike is packaged really well. There's tons of zip ties that need to be clipped off. Once you get all those off and get all the packaging material off, there's really only the handlebars to put on and the pedals to put on. And it's a pretty simple process, but we'll get through that. Also, the first thing I would recommend doing is getting to the battery, getting the battery out, getting the battery charger, and throwing it on the charger right away, because it needs to charge for a good 3 or 4 hours before you use the bike. These lithium batteries, they're kind of finicky, and you want to make sure that you're treating them properly, or else they don't last as long. And one of the first things to do is charge it up. This nice pair of snips here is perfect for cutting all the zip ties off. If you don't have something like this, I guess you could use scissors. These are a whole lot easier to use than scissors are. The bike comes with a set of keys, and these keys are not needed to start the bike. These keys are only used to take the battery on and off the bike so nobody can steal the battery. So you just have to put the key in, twist it over, slide the battery forward, and then you can pull the battery out from the bike. So that's it. When you want to put the battery back on, you just put it back on, slide it back, and lock it down. So next we just have to put the handlebars on. So we just need to take these bolts out, take the bracket off, put the handlebars on, put it back on, and tighten it up. There's also a little LED monitor screen here that needs to be mounted, so you just have to swivel it a couple of times to be able to tighten these down. So the key is just to get this on here loosely, and then get it somewhat tight, and adjust it where you want, and then tighten it down all the way. So this little screen monitor here can just kind of go back and forth, and at the end it's going to finish all the way right here so that we can see it when we're riding the bike. But right now we're just going to leave it to where we can tighten these up pretty good, get the handlebars adjusted to where we want them, and then tighten them down all the way, and then we can just slide this back over the top. So, like I said, this was just flipped over here so that I could tighten all those bolts down. I can just flip it back over. Now, yesterday, I noticed that this red wire here needed to be connected. This green wire also needs to be connected. It's just underneath this zipper sheath. So the only one that was disconnected yesterday that was seeable was this red one. So I connected that, hooked everything up, and the bike would not run. I went through everything that I could find. Finally, I unzipped this sheath, and there's 2 or 3 different connectors that need to be connected. Once I did that, then the bike ran great. So that's really important to check. Also, when I was taking the battery off on this bike, it looks like this is loose right here. So I just need to tighten this down. So just kind of do a once over on the bike, make sure everything's tight. Okay, it's important to note the pedals are labeled left and right. The left pedal is a reverse thread, so you have to twist it in the opposite way that you would think. Once we get it all the way tightened, this came with a tool kit. We can tighten it down with the tool as tight as we can get, that way the pedal won't fall off. The right one goes on as well. Then we're pretty much done putting the bike together. All we need to do at this point is put the battery in and ride it once the battery's all charged up. So the battery is right here. This is the charger that it comes with. The on-off switch for the bike is actually located on the battery. So this is on, this is off. The battery did not come with any instructions whatsoever. So, you know, looking for another switch on the bike or anything like that was kind of difficult, trying to understand how to turn it on, especially when that wire was disconnected and it wouldn't turn on. So everybody, future reference, this is how you turn the battery on and off. I believe this button right here just tells you how charged the battery is. As long as the battery's on, you can push the button and it's going to give you some green lights. Once it's fully charged, it goes all green. But also, once it's fully charged, this light, or this indicator light on the charger itself will go green, and then you know the battery is fully charged. All right, you might be wondering why I left everything in a big pile and left the box the way I did. But filleting the box open like that allows you to just leave all the garbage in one spot. It gives you a nice padded spot for your knees to be when you're on your knees on the cardboard. And then you can just wad it all up and throw it at the dumpster when you're all finished. So it worked out great yesterday. Seems like it's going to work out great again today. I'm just going to finish up on putting the pedals on. The bike will be ready to go. This bike is actually a pretty fun bike to use as a pedal bike as well. It does have 7 speeds, but you know, you wouldn't want to do it. Even the lowest gear is still pretty tough. And, you know, it's still a pretty tall gear because this bike has pedal assist and it also has just throttle, so that you can just throttle it up and ride it wherever you want without having to pedal at all. And that's right here. And then you've got your gear selector, so you can see how big the front sprocket is. So it's geared pretty tall, but you can pedal it if you need to. It also has front suspension, and the front suspension is pretty nice. My brother-in-law has a Super 73. The Super 73 does not have the front suspension, and that bike was pretty bouncy to ride around. It was still a lot of fun, but it was bouncy. And I'm going to get with him and maybe we can do a comparison of the two bikes. But having this front suspension was really nice. You can actually lock it out by going all the way to the right, and then there's no front suspension, or you can adjust it all the way back down and have a pretty loose front suspension. So that was actually a pretty nice feature on this bike, especially, you know, for the cost. This bike came with a digital display and the front suspension compared to the Super 73, and this was also a 750 watt motor versus the 500, which definitely seems like it was really nice to have that bigger motor. And I believe this bike was only $200 more than the Super 73. So far with what I've experienced, I think this bike is a great value, and maybe we can do a comparison between the two bikes here shortly. All right guys, there's only a couple things left to do, and that is put on the front reflector, and there's a little ding bell that they give for you so that you can warn people that you're coming. And then we'll put the battery on and go for a ride. So here's the finished product. The bike's all put together. Battery's installed, locked down with the key, like I mentioned. The on-off switch is right here. Turn it on. Come up here, and on the left handlebar, there's a mode button. Just click the mode button. It'll light up the screen. And then you can change how much help you want from the pedal assist, from 1, I believe, all the way up to 5. You can go back down to 1, but even 1, it's pretty amazing how much that helps. So that's it, or we can just pull the throttle and throttle ourselves wherever we want to go. This particular model has the 17.5 amp hour battery, so it should last quite a while. and let's go for a quick ride. So the cool thing is like the second you start pedaling, it just assists you in your pedaling. And so you don't need the throttle, you can just pedal, and it really makes it super nice and easy to ride and enjoy where you're at without having to stress about pedaling everywhere and wearing yourself out. Well, there you go, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you enjoy your own e-bike. And I really think this Bandit is the value to beat. It's kind of the market standard for value because this bike comes with a lot for the money. Don't have too much fun out there on your own e-bike, and don't be like me.